Hello students, today we will talk about the name of straight chain hydrocarbon. So firstly, we should come to know about hydrocarbon. What is hydrocarbon? Hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon is made with two words, that is hydro plus carbon. And the meaning of hydro is hydrogen and carbon. So compound in which hydrogen and carbon both are present, then that type of compound are known as hydrocarbon. For example, if you talk about CH4, we know that the valency of carbon is 4. That's why carbon have the tendency to form 4 bond. And if you talk about hydrogen, then hydrogen have only one valency. That's why it can make bond only single covalent bond with another carbon. So in case of CH4, we can see that carbon make 4 bonds with other hydrogen atoms, and hydrogen make 1 bond with carbonate. So in CH4 only carbon and hydrogen are present. That's why we can say that CH4 is hydrocarbon. And if we talk about carbon single bond carbon, then we can say that now each now in each carbon atom, 3 valencies are free. That's why 4 other hydrogen atoms can attach with carbon. So it will form this CH4 and it will form C2H6. Now we can say that C2H6 is also hydrocarbon because in C2H6 only carbon and hydrogen are present. So C2H6 is also hydrocarbon. CH4 is also hydrocarbon. Single bond and double bond can present between carbon and carbon atom. So we can say saturated hydrocarbon. In saturated hydrocarbon, single bond is present between carbon and carbon. For example, first, second and third carbon atom. We can see that C1 carbon have the tendency to make 3 bonds with hydrogen atom, and in case of C2 carbon 2 hydrogen atom can attach, and in case of C3 3 hydrogen atom can attach. So here we can see that single bond is present between C1 and C2, and single bond is present between C2 and C3 carbon atom. So we can say that that type of compound is saturated hydrocarbon. Now, unsaturated hydrocarbon. Carbon have the tendency to form single bond, single covalent bond, double covalent bond, and triple covalent bond. So when single covalent bond is present between carbon and carbon, then that type of hydrocarbon is known as saturated hydrocarbon. But along with single bond, double bond, or triple bond, or both types of bonds are present between carbon and carbon, then that type of hydrocarbon is known as unsaturated hydrocarbon. For example, here we can see that 3 hydrogen atom is attached with C1, 1 hydrogen atom is attached with C2, and 2 hydrogen atom can attach with C3. So in this hydrocarbon, we can see that single bond is present between C1 and C2, but double bond is present between C2 and C3. So here in this compound, double bond is present between C2 and C3. That's why it will be unsaturated hydrocarbon. Now, the topic is names of straight chain hydrocarbon. Names of straight chain hydrocarbon. The name of straight-chain hydrocarbon may be divided into two essential parts, that is word root and primary suffix. First is word root And second is primary suffix. Firstly, if you talk about word root for carbon chain length. When we select the carbon chain, it may be that in carbon chain one carbon atom is present, or two or three or more than three carbon atom is present in chain length, and means parent carbon chain. So we can divide the carbon chain according to their length, that is chain length, word root. First, if one carbon atom is present in chain length, that is C1, for C1 we have to use math for word root. So when one carbon atom is attached in chain length, then we will use math. Second, if two carbon atoms are present in chain length, then we will use eth. Third, if three carbon atoms are present in chain length, then we will use prop. Four carbon atoms are present, then we will use but. Five carbon atoms are present, then we will use pent. Six carbon atoms are present, then we will use hex. If it is seven, then we will use hept. And if it is eight, then we will use oct. If it is nine, then we will use non. And if it is 10, that means 10 carbon atoms are present in our parent carbon chain, then we will use dec. Now primary suffix. It was word root. Now we will talk about primary suffix. For saturated, that means only single bond is present between carbon and carbon, then we will use N for primary suffix. For that type of compound, we will use N, but when double bond is present between carbon and carbon, then we will use in, and when triple bond is present between carbon and carbon, then we will use ein. So we can say that when single bond is present, then we can say that type of hydrocarbon alkane. And when double bond is present, then we can say it is alkene. And when triple bond is present between carbon and carbon, then we can say that that type of compound is known as alkyne. For example, if molecular formula is CH4, then we can say that only one carbon atom is present. So we can use word root, and because single bond is present, that's why we can use N as primary suffix. So we can write the IUPAC name of CH4 is methane. Now CH3, single bond CH3. In case of CH3 single bond CH3, we can say that two carbon atoms are present, so we can use word root eth. And because only single bond is present between carbon and carbon, so we can use N as primary suffix. So we can write the IUPAC name of CH3 is CH3 single bond CH3 is ethane. Next example is CH2 double bond CH2. We can use word root eth because two carbon atoms are present, and because double bond is present between carbon and carbon, so we can use ene. And the IUPAC name of CH2 double bond CH2 will be ethene. Is CH3 C triple bond CH. Then we have to use word root prop because three carbon atoms are present in parent chain. We will use "-ine" as primary suffix. So the IUPAC name of CH3 single bond C triple bond CH will be propyne, and the another one is CH3 C CH and CH3. Then four carbon atoms are present in a parent carbon chain, so we will use but, and because double bond is present in this carbon chain, so we will use "-ine" as primary suffix. So the name of CH3 single bond CH double bond CH single bond CH3 will be butane. And the last example is for four carbon atoms we will use but as word root, and only single bond is present between carbon and carbon, so we will use "-n" as primary suffix, so its name will be butane. Now, names of branched chain hydrocarbons. The carbon atom in branched chain hydrocarbon are present as side chain. These side chain carbon atoms constitute the alkyl group and alkyl radical. An alkyl group is obtained from an alkane by removal of a hydrogen. So we can say that we can gain alkyl group by removal of one hydrogen atom from a hydrocarbon. So the general formula of alkyl group will be CnH2n plus 1. CnH2n plus 1, and an alkyl group is represented by R. So suppose if we have methane, that means when four hydrogen atom is attached with carbon atom, then we will remove one hydrogen atom from methane, and when hydrogen is removed from hydrocarbon, then we can get alkyl group, that is methyl, and one valency of methane will be free and it will known as methyl. Now if we talk about ethane, and when we remove one hydrogen atom, then we can get that type of alkyl group which will be known ethyl. It is ethane.